The night began with a whisper of wind, a silence so heavy it felt like a physical weight pressing against the small, fragile walls. Then, the earth groaned. A violent tremor tore through the foundations, and the world he knew began to crumble in clouds of choking dust. Shadows of frantic figures fled into the chaos outside, leaving behind a boy trapped in a frozen moment of pure, unadulterated terror. The air grew thin, cold, and still. As the boy's breath slowed to a final stop, the darkness of the room began to glow softly. A shimmering presence, light as a feather and bright as a star, drifted upward from the motionless body resting quietly by the dying fire. He looked down at himself, a tiny figure left behind, as he floated through the broken roof toward the vast, glittering canopy of the sky. The world of shadows faded, replaced by a cosmic void where time had no meaning, and the stars felt like old, familiar friends. Before him, step by step, a path of pure liquid gold began to manifest, bridging the gap between the earthly and the divine. Each step he took was lighter than the last, his fear dissolving into a sense of wonder that filled his very being. At the summit stood a gateway of blinding brilliance, radiating a warmth that felt like a mother's hug on a cold winter morning. He crossed the threshold and found himself in a valley of impossible beauty, where the grass was emerald and the air tasted like spring. Waterfalls of liquid gold cascaded down crystal cliffs, their roar a melody that sang of peace and the end of all sorrow. Among the blooms stood hundreds of people, their faces radiant with joy, welcoming him with smiles that knew no pain or age. In the centre of this paradise stood the tree of life, its branches reaching toward the infinite, pulsing with the heartbeat of creation. From behind the tree, a supreme light began to shine, a voice not heard but felt, whispering a truth he wasn't ready to believe. It is not your time yet, little one. There is more for you to see, more for you to love, and more to give. A compassionate figure, an angel with wings like soft clouds, leaned down and touched his forehead with a kiss of pure light. The paradise began to blur, the golden waterfalls fading into the distance as he was pulled back toward the heavy pull of the earth. He gasped for air, the weight of the world returning in a sudden rush of cold wind and the smell of smoke. But he was no longer alone. Strong arms held him tight, a father's love bridging the gap between the tragedy and the miracle of life.